So let me give you some examples. So grants to think about as an example. And these are the ones that I'm hearing most commonly coming up nowadays. On the federal side, the Homeland Security Grant Program, your state Homeland Security grants, your UASI, which is the Urban Area Security Initiatives, which is the top 25 or so cities in the country in terms of population. Operation Stone Garden, which is the border states that border either Canada, Mexico, or a body of water. All of those grants fall under the Homeland Security Grant Program. That application is due May 14th. Now, the one thing to consider, again, that's 2021 money. That 2021 money is exciting, and it's about $1.8 billion. But the thing you got to think about is for every $1 that comes into the grant pool in 2021 through DHS, there's 2 additional dollars sitting there. So why is that? The way it works is with the Homeland Security Grant Program, and in fact, federal grants in general, they have a 12-month period that you could apply and you have to spend the funding by if you're awarded. You also can extend those DHS grants twice, each one for 6 months. So that's 2 years. So what I've seen happen over the years is city councils and county boards, they get the money, they get a hold of it, and they sit on it. And what they do is they collect interest on those grants. And the reason being is this: they have the ability to spend that interest money on anything they want in their city. Doesn't have to be for fire or police or public safety. It could be for public works, public health. It could be for the mayor's office or the county office. It could be for a variety of things within the city or county that they reside in. And they have to spend the grant, though, on the project. But the longer that sits in the bank, the more interest they collect. And that's why they push it out so long. And it's challenging because you, as an end user, you're applying for that grant because you got a problem right now that you need solved. And you talk to the business, Fox Fury in this case. They want to help solve the problem. They want to sell you the lighting if you feel it's a fit. And the whole process gets bogged down because of all this bureaucratic red tape. Then you get the COVID grants, the CARES Act, specifically the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act. That is a huge grant that's going to be around for about 5 years. And there's $150 billion in this grant. And the key thing is this: showing how the lighting is going to help solve the COVID problem in the community. Maybe it's to light up a testing station. Maybe it's to light up an area where there's a bunch of people that are sick from COVID. Whatever it is, as long as you can show how the lighting solutions that Fox Fury offers connects to solving the COVID issues in the community, it's a fit. Then you have the AFG grant, or the Assistance to Firefighters grant. That grant is a nice grant for lighting solutions for the fire side of the industry. State grants, the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, or the JAG grant, or the Byrne grants. That is a grant, local. And the way it works is it's a formula grant. Your agency fills out paperwork, crime rate and population determine in the formula how much money you get. That money could go to Fox Fury. Then you have the Volunteer Fire Assistance Grant Program. So if you're a volunteer agency and you're servicing a small community, you can apply to get funding for lights through that grant. Then we have private grants. Grants through companies like Firehouse Subs. Firehouse Subs is a sandwich shop, similar to like a Subway, started by 2 firemen. And then they started off a foundation, and they take a percentage of the revenue from their sandwich shops, put it in the foundation. They also offer their customers a chance to round up their sale. So if their sale is $7.50, this customer can round it up to $8 as an example. That extra 50 cents goes to the foundation. In the stores, they'll see boots or pickle jars, and people can throw loose change or anything else in the jars. That money goes to the foundation. So the foundation, it will award projects and fund projects for public safety. On average, over the last 5 years, they've been doing about 100 projects a year. What's exciting right now is to help serve the public safety market, they've already awarded 100 agencies grants that have been submitted. Over $2.5 million have been funded so far, and they're going to keep going all year. And their goal is to get it up to keep doing that 100 every quarter. So it's exciting times. Very competitive now, though, but exciting times. And if your project is anywhere up to $25,000, there's a good chance you can get it funded if it's a sound and viable project, which we're going to cover in a bit. Then you have nonprofits like the Gary Sinise Foundation. And most people are familiar with Gary Sinise either through watching Forrest Gump. He played Lieutenant Dan. He was also the lead detective on CSI New York. Gary Sinise, he raises money for soldiers. He raises money for public safety officers that are having issues with PTSD. He raises money for PPE, for COVID relief, for COVID response. He also funds projects for public safety. I most recently worked with a client and helped them get funding for turnout gear for their agency, a small department in Missouri. So Gary Sinise is another one you should target. Then there's regional foundations, and these are the ones I'm most excited about. A regional foundation is based on a certain community in the country. There's roughly 700 to 800 of these. And I'll give you some examples, like San Diego County is a well-known one. San Diego County Community Foundation takes care of anybody that works within San Diego County. And then there's ones that maybe make up 5 or 10 or 15 counties. And that might be like a Central Missouri Community Foundation grant as an example. And what they do is they raise funds within their communities, they reinvest those funds, and they grow the funds up. The average size fund I've seen for these community foundations is anywhere from 7 figures, which is millions of dollars. I've seen 4 of them actually have over $1 billion in their funds. So these are massive. I mean, if you take all 700 of these, they dwarf anything that you're getting from the federal government. And they work like I said, private equity firms. They raise money within their community, they reinvest that money, they grow the funds, and then they fund projects that show how a community will be enhanced, improved, or developed. They also fund projects of disaster preparedness, response, relief, or recovery. So what you're able to do is if you can show how your lighting project through Fox Fury is going to enhance, improve, or develop the community, or help you respond or prepare or recover or provide relief for that community, you can get the project funded. It's that simple. And the truth is this: optimizing your public safety's abilities will get you funded for projects like this. So definitely something to keep in mind.